Two things. One, my ear finally cleared up. I can properly hear again. It was weirdly muffled, but I can properly hear again. That's the first thing. Second thing is, wow, 2 DC videos in a row. Who would have thunk it? For more than a decade, the CW's Arrowverse was the pillar of superhero storytelling. While the DCEU was struggling on the big screen in the 2010s, shows like Arrow and The Flash were thriving on TV. So much so, in fact, that spin-off shows started happening, like Supergirl and Superman and Lois, which Supergirl was actually brought over from CBS, and while Superman and Lois would eventually become a thing, not all planned shows made it to air, such as the case was with Green Arrow and the Canaries, which aired as a backdoor pilot in 2020. You see, the CW tested this concept out in an episode of Arrow in Season 8. The episode in question explored the idea of a show that would have centered on Mia Queen's Green Arrow, as well as Laurel and Dinah, in the somewhat distant future of 2040. Taking place in Star City, Mia is visited by Laurel and Dinah when the pair proceed to upend their life. The duo, you see, are tracking a kidnapping victim who has ties to Mia, so they all suit up to save the city. But, unfortunately, the show, CW, decided to not move forward with the spinoff. Hence, that when Arrow ended after 8 seasons in 2020 in January, this specific corner of the Arrowverse ended with it. So, what exactly happened? Why did the network decide to not press forward with the show? Well, for one thing, the main series that anchored the universe were on the way out, with The Flash Season 9 bringing the show to a close a couple years later. Supergirl would soon follow suit, with Black Lightning also calling it quits in 2021, which, by the way, Black Lightning, I wish we had more of. Anyways, the writing seemed to be more or less on the wall for the Arrowverse. But be that as it may, it was real-world events that ultimately killed this would-be DC team-up series. That's right, y'all. The coconut panini, coconut panini, we're all familiar with it. It fucked up everything, and that includes TV and movies, it did that too. In January of 2021, it was revealed that the CW wasn't picking up Green Arrow and the Canaries to series. That announcement came nearly a full year after the network aired the backdoor pilot for the show. However, as writer-slash-producer Mark Guggenheim explained on Twitter at the time, the decision was actually made much earlier, and it all had something to do, of course, with the coconut panini. Actually, the decision was made during the start of the pandemic, which I do believe was the deciding factor. The actual announcement was made today. You see, the pandemic upended so much of production in Hollywood, with quite a few movies and TV shows being canceled as a direct result. Much of that was owed to higher production costs and uncertainty regarding the future of business. That's why Supernatural ended so weirdly. That's kind of why Supernatural's coming back. People don't like the ending. I don't like the ending. CW was especially hit hard with this, being sold by Nexstar in 2022. It was at that point that the Arrowverse truly began to die, with the network's new owners focusing on cheaper, largely unscripted programming instead. So even if it did go forward, Green Arrow and the Canaries probably wouldn't have lasted very long. In a 2022 interview with comicbookmovie.com, Cassidy explained why she had no regrets about the show being canceled. Cassidy, by the way, the Cassidy family, nepotism. I already did the thingy. She plays Green Arrow, like the female Green Arrow. Whatever. I say this in the most respectful, kind, realistic way. We really, really milked that cow. Like, come on. You evolve, you grow, I love learning and I love acting, but also, I started in features and I'm stepping back into them. I'm directing this movie with Marina Studios that I'm also producing called Daddy Issues. I'm writing and tapping into this creative side of me that I've never had time to because I've been acting. I loved acting my whole life, but I want to grow. Let's end this video off with another quote from her. It's not that I would have loved for the show to go ahead, because I loved working with everyone, plus it's something different. Let's shake some shit up. Laughs. We know about the superheroes, we've been there. What's next? Crows in my bed. Anyways, that's really about it. There's nothing else to say, And she's right. In all honesty, I have seen horrible shows on the CW. I know one that I'm thinking of right now that V and Fuse talked about. Plus, let's not forget how bad Batgirl did, okay? We've milked the DCEU and the CW verse, okay? No more. Now, granted, we're still getting DC TV shows, with Peacemaker Season 2 coming out, and Creature Commandos also getting another season, and other stuff. But yeah, there's not really anything else you can do with the CW verse or whatever. So yeah. Speaking of Supernatural, circling back, of course, soon I'll be making a video about the Supernatural anime. Absolute cinema. I literally remember watching it when I was in middle school, when I first got into Supernatural, and my first thought was, I gotta make a video about it one day if I ever become a YouTuber. And to be fair, when I did become a YouTuber, I did make Supernatural videos, but they weren't really that good. I don't like my reviews. Oh, I really want to change them. I want to, like, delete some of them, you know what I mean? I want to get rid of some, and then just, like, kind of reset a little. I should definitely do that. Holy cow. Anyways, like my shirt? I like my shirt. I'm flexing and, finessing. I didn't realize my shirt said that. Well, they say I'm hip. No, they don't. No one actually says that. Anyways, Chuck E. Cheese video coming soon. Oh, the third thing I was gonna say, because I forgot. I watched Cannibal the Musical. I don't know how I'm gonna fit that in the schedule, but rest assured, it's gonna happen.